YouTubers, Facebookers, boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining another wonderful episode of the Mountain Dew Review. See, this is why I'm not a rapper or a hip hop artist. I slur my words. The only cool thing I got is this mustache. Good Mountaineers, thank you for tuning in. Today we have the unknown legend, the awesome KNR.
Yes.
We're going to learn a lot about him today. I just discovered him not too long ago. So it's a learning lesson for us. I love these interviews where I barely know the guy interviewing, because then it's more of an organic.
Yes.
So I find myself giving spoilers
Okay.
about the other artist I know.
Yeah. There's no.
So here, there's like absolutely no spoilers. I know his real name.
I know his real
you
name,
know,
which is my real name and my artist name. I mean, the K is Kyle, of course.
So, you know, that's the only thing I really know. I know kind of how he got started a bit, but we're just gonna jump right in and learn about KNR, and let's do it.
Let's get it.
So I like to always start off. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up at?
Council Bluffs, Iowa. You know, it was right across the bridge, and lived throughout the whole city. You know, my mom just she was a little GM for McDonald's and stuff, so she had a nice amount of money here, you know, especially back in the late 90s, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You know, pulling in a couple thousand a month, whatever. It's pretty good in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
So we weren't never broke, but my city is a drug struggle, so, you know, it was always around me, regardless of, no matter where we moved, it was always, someone had it somewhere, and I've never touched meth, and I don't say that to put it down on anyone, but I think that surprises people, especially with the environment.
Oh, yeah. You know, coming from Council Bluffs, everybody knows you.
I just made a joke today. I said, it smells like fall with a hint of meth out today. And my aunt got it, and she knows how the city is. But
that's hilarious. I always tell everybody that if you thought Lance Armstrong in the Tour de France is amazing, you should watch a crackhead in Council Bluffs get the call from the dealer and watch him take off on a fucking girl's Barbie bike.
I don't mean to get too far off. I seen this dude one time, just one quick tweaker story. This dude, he's mowing this yard, and like, I'm a pretty quick worker. Like, I'm here to bust stuff out, get it done, get home, whatever. But this dude is, I had never seen someone move that fast with the lawnmower. It was crazy. That was just like one story right at the top of my head. It gets pretty crazy in Council
And then
Bluffs.
he had missed spots all over, probably.
Yes. There's definitely a user side and a dealer side. And the dealer side, you'll see cops down there busting houses out and stuff like that. I was just riding up the street the other day, and they had the cops, the undercovers, all at this house pulling people out. So definitely come from a city where it's not gangster hard, but it's drug hard.
Definitely.
And there's a lot of wannabe gangsters there, but I'm going to shut up about that because I don't mean to offend anybody in my city.
Oh, shit. Okay, so you grew up in Council Bluffs.
Yes.
How'd you end up getting into the music scene then?
Well, I started writing when I was 14 in 2005, a couple months before Wayne dropped the Carter 2. So I've actually been, a lot of my learning, my writing skills and styles come from more like the Ludacrises, the Nellies, the Waynes, even into Drake. But after that, I really said, I don't want to go and continue to listen to the newer rappers coming out. I'm going to create my own style. So I kept it to, those are my influences. And it's not that I don't care about music. I just want to be as original as possible. So I most definitely try to keep my music to my, my music influence is light, if that makes any sense.
I can definitely understand that. Makes it less seem like you're copycatting people.
Exactly, and
when you're like, oh, you sound just like, Drake, or you sound like, DJ Khaled or something.
Yes.
I totally get that. So then, with those being your influences, how'd you get into the local scene?
Okay, that's what I was gonna get. I was just gonna say that's where my writing starts, my actual writing. My sister had a boyfriend, and he's like, hey, bro, and I got these open mics I go to, and just so happened to be the host of my first open mic was Nevis.
Shout out.
402, and so that was just a blessing.
He just had one of his first headlining shows.
I was there for it. Yes, I was most definitely there for it. I made sure I was there for it because he was the host of my first open mic.
That's awesome. And again, guys, listen to KNR. Open mic. it's very important. If you guys complain about not getting booked and not getting time on stages, open mics are the best place.
And that is my official start in the local
get up
scene.
And completely suck ass at, but hone your craft. Because you get better every time you do it.
Yes, and you feel the audience, and you feel more comfortable on the stage. Now, someone like me, I've had people tell me, like, wow, bro, you're just natural. You're just up there, and you're just like, you have no fears. And I was like, I don't. It's just me in that stage, and the audience gets to witness. That's how I go up there.
That's awesome.
That's my mentality to really get in my own zone. Of course, I love the audience.
So where was that open mic night at?
I was gonna say, actually, in Council Bluffs, the Cube. It's a little place called the Cube. He ran nice enough. Not nice enough entertainment, but because of him, I ended up meeting Justin Strawstone. That's all I was gonna say, and going on to one of his open mics at the Lookout Lounge. I don't want to misquote anything, but it was a 2019 open mic that Nice Enough.
I think it was at Lookout is where he was doing those. So over there off of 72nd and like Farnham.
Yes, and then. Oh, by the way, just to backtrack a little bit, when you meet people like this, be careful what you say to them. This ain't a blueprint. This is how I did it. I just want to just be careful what you say, man, because you could be in front of an influencer with thousands and thousands of fans and just not being taken serious by them and mess up your whole brand before you ever even knew it. So don't take what I say as a blueprint for you to go out and try, because I took a lot of risk on this run. Yeah, lots of risk.
Again, like he says, be professional. I mean, that's what it's kind of boiling down to. Like, you never know what guy's out there in the crowd watching you. Open mic night anywhere.
Or who's hosting them.
Exactly.
The host is the one with the connections.
The one guy hosting it, you may think, oh, this dude ain't shit, but then he knows every promoter in the city.
And just had his first headlining show.
You do a dope set on this open mic night, and he's passing your name to every promoter in town who's now dying to have you on to see what you have.
I wish it was that good, but nevertheless, I continued meeting hosts of open mics and different show promoters, and then I found my way to the Down Under and haven't left since. Other than the COVID, COVID happened. Yeah. I took my break. When I took my break, I went back. I studied my tapes of all my open mics that I had. I really I got my stage presence down. Where am I going wrong in my voice? And I knew it. There wasn't much passion when I first started out, but the more I've wanted it and the more drive I've gotten and the more I've had serious people in the scene tell me they're going to help me take this serious, and we'll get to those names if we do, I most definitely have been more passion in my, learning, this is how you put passion, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome. Again, guys, a drive will take you very, very far.
Yes.
And it's not just a passion for money or clout. It's a passion for doing good art. If you weren't really listening to KNR's words here, it's taking passion for what you want and crafting it better. And that's his drive to become a better artist.
Yes.
It isn't to be the best. It's to be the best artist he can be, guys. Remember, It's all subject. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
And if some good rappers say I'm good too, it puts a smile on my face. It's always fun. It's always nice when other talent sees your talent.
That little stoke of it's
always nice.
It's like when you guys get stoked for just coming onto this podcast. It's a good feeling.
I was hyped.
It's just something silly, but I didn't realize how hyped up you guys get for it, and I appreciate that.
And this is my first podcast. I've been looking to land one for about a year now. But I just, you only know certain people, and you don't want to just go asking, and I don't know. I just try not to come off as desperate. Anytime I ask, I make sure that's the time that someone's going to help me out, if that makes any sense.
Exactly what he said.
If someone says, I don't F with you, or I can cuss on you. Someone says, I don't fuck with you. Cool. You don't have to. I'll find someone who does, and we'll go tear up the scene. They'll go help me make that noise. But I do make a lot of noise at these open mics.
Yeah.
Just last week, I got a little, if you know my name in this bitch, and they said KNR back, so I'm starting to really see the results and that's all with poetry. I'm only on my third time performing music on a stage at Down Under. I've done all this run, the initial run that I told you about was done with all poetry.
Nice.
Yes.
See, so again, if you guys think that you're only good at one thing, he turned poetry into rapping. That's key example of a really good underground artist that has done that is Watsky.
Okay.
Watsky won.
I'm unfamiliar.
He's out of Bay Area.
Okay.
He won Def Jam poetry contest
I
2
need
years
to
in
be
a row.
more familiar then.
And he started off just as a poet writer.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, he's doing some hardcore raps that,
Right.
like, he's done songs with MC Lars, Spose.
Oh wow.
Beefy, he's kind of more towards the nerdcore
Right.
backpack rap, but again, this dude, he's an underrated artist.
Right.
But that's how he started. I mean, he won poetry contests and
Okay.
stuff, and then he was like, you know what, there's something else I can do with this.
Yes.
And that's cool that you say that, because it's nice that you started off doing poetry and then learned, look, I can evolve this into something a little different, a little more into something I like, which is awesome.
I was just gonna say I'm a little different because the poetry was only a means to land not necessarily signed on deal, but land those opportunities to get put in somebody's studio.
To show that, yeah.
But I did put of course there's
Content.
passion in the words, but the actual poetry for me on those stages was only a means for someone to hear my words, to understand like, oh, this kid's actually very, very lyrical and that sort of deal. And that first person just happened to be Marcus Dupree with JVM Empire.
Shout out, merch by Marcus.
Yes.
Designed my logo, does all my printouts.
He also oh, sorry, go ahead.
This beautiful merch shirt he made.
Yes.
Like,
Of course.
hit up Marcus for almost any needs that involves printing and or stickers and or CD production. I mean, ask about my plug.
Yeah.
You know, like, he does all kinds of stuff. Shout out to him. Again, JB Empire.
And he is the executive producer of my first project, Unknown Legend. That's because I call them amateur releases. I do have amateur releases out, but I'm no producer. I don't understand frequencies.
Basement cuts or whatever you want to call.
We'll say I spent a lot of time in basements, that's for sure. But,
old school guys would call them basement tapes.
Okay, yeah.
You younger guys are not allowed to use that term. If you,
I'm 30. Where do I fall in on that?
If you
I'm a
put-
91 baby though. So
if you put it on a computer, you're not allowed to call it a tape, guys.
okay, fair enough.
I know most of you guys enjoy calling them tapes, but I've only had like 2 artists on here that actually screwed with tapes.
I seen that.
And so I just kind of find it funny when we kind of go to the basement tapes, because that's or like the bootleg tapes.
Yeah.
You know, those are always the raw cut tapes of certain artists that weren't always the best stuff. But
Right.
it was just
Like
raw.
a side B type deal.
Yeah, it was just total raw stuff. Grateful Dead has a ton of it.
Okay.
Bob Dylan has a ton. Tommy Bolin has. I mean, almost probably every artist does.
I just learned something. That's
And
awesome.
some of them were like when I was younger. That's out of all my dad's collections, I always liked his basement tape collections.
Okay.
Because those were just the ones that were a hair different than the studio. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of watching things evolve.
Okay. Then you're
So,
going to
like-
want to watch me, Adam.
So, like, when you see someone drop a track and then a couple years later they rework that track,
Yes.
and then they give you the demo version in that track, and then you can hear the subtle changes they did and the evolution of them as
As an artist.
and then once you know some of their other music, you can see where they got their other. So they did a CD in between, waiting for them 2 songs to get released, and you can tell how that one CD they made influenced the change of the song. Again, we're going back, guys.
Yes.
Don't delete your old stuff. Like, again, you might think it's garbage, and it could be, but somebody else is going to listen to it, and they might like it. Like,
Yes.
key example, Silent Chico. I just interviewed him, and he was one of them guys that he was like, I have a whole bunch of old tapes that I just wasn't feeling. I thought were just my worst things I've ever done. And a buddy of mine was messing around on my computer, started listening to them. And now the single that's going to be for my new CD is one of the old songs I hated, but we reworked it. And
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, and that's the thing,
I love
guys.
that creativity.
Exactly. Like, so if you guys think something isn't going to work out, don't toss it. You know,
Right, yeah, work with it.
Keep it and work with it and
Evolve.
evolve. And, you know, maybe go back to it. Key example, Marilyn Manson. His first 3 studio albums is all of his unreleased underground music, just finer tuned.
Right.
Like, everybody thinks these were 3 brand new albums we got. And
I wouldn't know the difference. I was still a little kid, so I was more at the age like, fucking Marilyn, but I didn't really know the like, music quite like that yet. And
Yeah,
I didn't even realize the impact that music would, because, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I was just saying, my 2 biggest influences, and there's a reason for it, would be Pocket M And that's because Pac was a very, strong leader and voice in his community. And
especially when you were growing up.
exactly. And then Eminem represents a white rapper
Or
like
Eminem
me,
was.
Yeah, and then
growing up.
Yes, and I saw Eminem's run more than Pac's run, but I was there at the tail end, and I remember like changes coming out, and I remember being 8, 9 years old, bumping to California.
Good old Dre.
Yeah, so people get surprised when they realize how far back my mind goes with this music stuff as far as influences go. But to give some time context, all that from the Nevis's hosting of the Cube open mic to my Down Under performance at like maybe my 4th one in, because I wasn't doing them all that. I was only hitting them like take a few weeks off, come back. But since I've been back, I've been doing at least one open mic. Since I've been back in July, I've been doing one open mic a week since the end of July, and it just slowed down. I was doing Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays all week, every week, all the way up till just a couple weeks ago. Then it dropped down to 2. Now I'm dropping it back down to 1 to start putting more focus into, rebuilding some stuff and all that
Working
good
on
stuff.
Some content.
Yes. So April 2020, I put out my first. I had a couple little whatevers out. I put out my first album that I was proud of. I thought I was proud of. And it goes back to the quality. It's still up. I still kept it up for time, capsule reasons. But it was called UFO Flows. And I think the creativity of that and it's not even the creativity of it. It's just that I was so ready to go out and promote it on these stages. So I just do my poetry. And I said, I do got my first release coming out, whatever, after doing my poems. I'd tell the audience this, dropped it. It was garbage. Quality wise, bar for bar. I don't need an advocate to prove my flow is adequate. My raps is biohazard sick. Take the track, you can fracture it. That's not that bad for lyricism. If you add, that's actual real lyricism in my mind. That's a little line out of one of my songs.
And I'll tell you guys this: 90% of your lyrics probably aren't garbage. It's you creating your own beats and doing it, and you being your worst critic.
That is very true.
So again, don't delete your stuff. Feel free to have somebody else listen to it with an unbiased ear, guys. I'm telling you. So, some of you guys, I have a feeling, have trashed the next top 10 Billboard charting hit, because you just...
The quality wasn't quite there.
Yeah, because some of you guys kind of, you're not enough butter over too much toast,
Exactly.
You're trying to do everything, and like KNR is doing... He's kind of took a step back and he's letting Marcus Dupree help with some of the engineering and stuff like that.
Be honest, they are my beats, and it's all my songs 100% from beat to lyrics. He just runs me through his equipment and programs, and that's not a deal for just anybody. I don't want to just give out like, oh, go hit it. I don't know anything. That's if he is blessed to ask you to work with him, take it. That's all I can say, because I actually took a risk by even walking up to Marcus Dupree, to be honest, and I didn't even realize who I was walking up to. I just said, hey, bro, I heard you on stage. I thought you were really cold. And
what's the worst answer he could have told you? No?
No, exactly.
But instead, he got the best answer he could have had.
Yes.
Because, guys, take the opportunities.
And Marcus,
handle
listen.
yourself professional when you're on the stage, because, again... You may not think it's much, but somebody like Dupree can help kickstart you in the right direction.
They could lead you from being unknown to a podcast out in a few months' time.
You could... If
you got the drive.
There's all kinds of guys out here that will push you in the right directions if you just open your mouth and ask.
Yes.
And again, some of them are going to tell you no, but don't think that means no to the whole scenario.
Yes.
That just means no with that person. There's 270 guys in this town you can hit up and ask for advice, guys. Like, if you didn't hear no 270 times to that question, I don't want to hear why you gave up yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you hear no once and you stop, you really probably aren't trying.
Exactly. And no one told me no. They just weren't prepared to take on such a project of an artist that I am.
Let's put it this way. Your significant other, how many times they tell you no before you got in their pants? Exactly. I'm pretty sure you didn't give up right away on that one. Just
if you could be determined to get some pussy, you can be determined to chase your rap.
Or some penis, guys, because or whatever you're trying to get.
Yeah, I just went with my personal preference or whatever is whatever.
But seriously, I know some of you guys have tried so hard to get with other people that if you tried that hard with your music, you would Probably go really far. You might have 6 albums with them 6 kids. Maybe 6 different record labels too.
Oh, I see why the scene fucks with Adam right here, right now.
So, you have an up-and-coming project.
Yes, called Unknown Legend, which obviously it's because I'm, making a lot of noise before I was ever even known.
And with that, Marcus Dupree's helping you with that.
Yes.
Which is awesome. So
Yes.
that's one of them cool things that I like, guys, because this is one of them ones that it all comes back in town and stays in town and supports the scene 100%.
Yes.
So this is one of them albums that once you see it drop, you go buy it, because not only are you helping KNR with an album sale, but you're helping Marcus Dupree by pushing work that he worked on.
Yes.
So remember, not only by purchasing from an artist a shirt, remember, sometimes they outsource these to other guys in town, like Merch by Marcus. And so then you're helping 2 local artists do what they want to do.
Exactly. And you're keeping...
and you keep your money here.
And you give back to the scene and help the scene continue to grow, because Merch by Marcus does a lot of amazing things for a lot of artists out here that those artists might not have access to without it, to be honest.
Like, he has a heart. I mean, we all know about my accident.
Yes.
I have my benefit coming up, and he did some wonderful print-offs of some really nice quality that I know cost a bit of money, and he just asked me how many I wanted. And that's because when he gets enough help and support and love, he shows it back.
Yes.
I'm telling you guys,
definitely.
when we spoil these artists and they break even on their merch sales, they're more than happy to start handing it out and giving it to people and promoting themselves.
I did so good in my first couple of weeks. I just ran a deal at the Down Under, one buy one get one free, $10 for 2 shirts.
See that?
And that's a nice logo for $10 for 2 shirts.
I mean, that's
because Down Under always is showing
quality.
me love.
And again, guys, see that? He was able to do 2 for $10 shirts. Buy one for yourself, get one for your girlfriend, and boom, you're super cool because you bought your girlfriend a shirt.
Exactly.
But you got a sweet deal because he's been pumping out enough merch and people have been supporting him enough that he's more than broke even on it.
Something like that.
Well,
this is literally my first. I'm in the first 20 shirts of my first run.
In your eyes,
I got enough to give back to the audiences who
you've
were
made enough
giving
to
me
feel
this
comfortable to.
Right.
Again, if you guys haven't watched the episode with Comatose, like him and his pre-orders, there's a reason he gives you a little special thing with the pre-order, and then after they drop, I'm telling you, he spoils people with all kinds of merch packs and stuff like that. And that's why it's important. Like, fuck you guys. What did Garth Brooks do for you? 93,000 of you fucking idiots. Nothing. He canceled his tour afterwards because he made so much fucking money off of 93,000 stupid fucking people looking at goddamn Garth Brooks when there was 3 local shows going on that weekend. 3, and they were dead as fuck, but 93,000 of you fuckers, Slipknot didn't even pull in them fucking numbers, and they're hometown fucking heroes from Des Moines. You fucking idiots. Sorry.
No, you're good. KNR does not.
How many fucking $40 fucking
I've never had to give out
for fucking how much fucking merch does fucking Garth Brooks give out at $40 a fucking shirt when 93,000 of you fucking idiots probably bought it? Then he probably talked Nebraska fucking stadium and he'd be like, hey, I want some of them beer sales too if I'm gonna do this country concert in your goddamn football stadium. Like, were you guys that desperate to see Garth Brooks' shitty music?
If this was going to happen on any podcast, it was going to be mine, so keep going.
To be on Memorial Stadium. Like, what was your choice there, fuckers? Like, goddamn. Fuck Garth Brooks and fuck you people that spent that much money on one fucking ticket to sit at Memorial goddamn Stadium and catch COVID and listen to the shittiest country singer that has ever existed. Again, at least fucking Billy Ray Cyrus gave us Miley. Man, like... Get the fuck out of here. At least she was on a wrecking ball naked, bastards. And fucking, what did fucking Garth Brooks give us? One song that Smoke Break covered better in my backyard. Fuckers.
I love it. I love the energy. No, if it's going to happen, then you might as well pick one of the podcasts to do it with.
Fuckers.
I've met so many rappers, and I just want to say real quick, I've met so many rappers, and they all know who they are, and thank you. Because each and every one of them has been a piece of advice that's elevated me to the next level. And I don't even feel comfortable saying his name because I don't want it to be a clout chasing thing, but he was a millionaire just waiting on his check. I'll say that. And I met him, and he passed away shortly 2 months into us meeting each other. And I bought one of his shirts and he'd, just give me some advice how to self-fund a merch brand. So major shout out to him too. I just, like I said, I don't want anyone to think I'm clout chasing, and it's kind of one of those names where it's like, does he really know? But his name is Lon. I don't know if you ever heard of him, Lon Measy. I have met Lon Measy, and I was, after I bought his shirt, I was like, he's like, you know what I mean? The person, I want some advice from. So I, hey, how you doing? I went and listened to those tracks we talked about, loved them. And
I believe Marcus has had some.
That's how I met. All right, let me rephrase something. Almost a lot of these bigger names I've met is because of Marcus Dupree, but Nevis was my own. Like, I did that on my own. There's still a lot that I had to do on my own before I even met Marcus. After Marcus, a lot of the, meeting you is because of Marcus, more than likely. Actually, it was a Strawstone post.
It all depends on who.
It was a Strawstone post about your accident, and I was like, man, that's not how I can meet bro right now. Give him time to heal, get his life, whatever, and then I'm just keep putting eyeballs until he invites me under his post, until he finally invites me on his podcast.
And here you are. Shout out Strawstone, Nice Enough Entertainment.
Yes, for sure.
They're doing great things for the scene. I
love the local scene.
They have such a packed October coming up. It's awesome.
I know, and I'm so October's just
and
the one
course,
month.
A packed October when I can't work. So, hey, you guys feeling some love? Send me tickets.
There you
wink,
go.
wink,
He
nudge,
deserves
nudge.
them. If I had any, my first show is on October 23rd, by the way, with Nappy Face Entertainment.
Nappy Face. Shout out to Evan Ulrich.
So I've met him. I met a couple of his artists. I was at an open mic, but then I met him at a Nappy Face show after. I met Devin at the show, but he had seen me in passing while a couple of his artists was at an open mic. Low Key the Don and Mookie Loke. Those are two that I've met. So
yep.
You'd be
Low Key hits up a lot of open mics.
Yes, and he tears them up like it's a fucking paid show.
Oh,
I love it.
He performs like he's in front of
thousands of people, no
matter
what
size crowd he is or where he's at. That's why, again, if you guys aren't familiar with Low Key the Don, go look him up. He is definitely one of them guys that
I'm just name dropping like a
if you watch a live performance by him, you're not going to be disappointed. He brings so much energy and vibe, and it's like the first time I seen him, I was like, oh my God, I love this dude.
Yeah.
And then every time I see him afterwards, it's just such a great show. Like, he gets everybody involved and gets people hyped up.
And I still have to make it to a show that because the Nappy Face I went to, Mookie was there, and I was very fortunate. It's like, God, I don't want to say anything that anyone doesn't believe in, but God looks out for me on this stuff, and he's just put me in if you see really my story, he's really just put me at the right person at the right time. And they weren't necessarily the person who took me and, made me songs and stuff, but they gave me just that little key advice. But I was lucky they were able to go on. I was able to go on before their spot. So they heard me perform my poetry, and right as I was walking off stage, they're coming up like, nice job, and giving me a little advice and stuff. So
listen to this. You get advice from everywhere, from everyone, and you put it together.
Yes.
And you evolve from that. Don't take one person's advice as solid stone.
Yes.
You again, he's had probably several artists tell him several different things, and he's learned from each one of them.
Yes.
And that's why it's important, guys. Stay professional. Watch other people's sets. Don't just perform and leave. Like, don't hang outside and smoke for 45 fucking minutes while other artists are fucking performing.
That's the only one they got me on.
Like, that, I don't mean to be a dick to you guys, but, like, you'll miss out on some, I mean, there's... I seen it where there was a lady up from Kansas City performing, and there was a bunch of guys outside, and I can tell you what, you have no idea who that lady from Kansas City was.
Right, and I'm talking about open mics. I'm not talking about shows. Because the open mics is where I'm guilty of that, like a motherfucker.
Well, and an open mic is an open mic.
Right,
but
exactly.
Again, open mics are a little...
But when it comes to the show, I came to see those different artists and to watch their stage presence from my perspective. So I'm in there, If
you're an opener at a local show, you should be watching the other acts to learn from them.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, never see stop saying my motherfucking name. But at his headlining show, it was awesome because you take risk in this lifetime. You know, who knows what you're supposed to do, but you take risk in this lifetime. So his very last song, I sat on the edge of the stage while he was performing. I just watching the crowd, just watching what he was. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see how the crowd's reacting while he's up there killing it. You know what I mean? So I most definitely am very, very observant.
And again, like he said,
that sort of deal.
He's not just watching the artist; he's watching how the artist interacts with the crowd. Like,
and what gets the crowd's hype, and I'm pretty good
how to
at
catch the crowd's attention.
I'm pretty good at it, you know, by myself. But I just, you know, like, I don't know. It's always good to know that you're on the right path, even if you're doing the same thing as the artist. It's still good to check it out, just to say, hey, I'm doing the same thing.
You're never a master of your craft. I still learn new ways. I've been painting for 10 years, and I still learn new stuff that I'm just like, damn, how did I not figure this out 9 years ago?
Right.
You know, so guys, even if you think you're perfect, you're always learning.
Always learning. And if you're not, then you're staying still, and that's not an elevation.
Yeah, then you're getting stale.
Exactly.
And then 4 albums sound exactly the same, and nobody knows what your new single was because I thought it was your last 6.
Well, from that's a good little say. Right? From UFO Flows, I realized that I had started the whole year. The rest of 2020 went by. I put out one more thing, thinking I was done. I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm putting out this last little poetry release with 4 songs because I'm done. I can't figure out the production side, and I was ready to give up. And that's when I had the actual conversation with Dupree, the actual, like, hey, here's it is. This was months after the fact, you know. He said, hey, I saw you put out this project, but I told you to get a hold of me before you did. And I was like, told him my situation, and I'm not going to get in on here because it's a very sad story, but told him my actual situation of why I just had to do what I could do and get it out and leave it alone. And I told him, and I was like, besides, it don't matter because I'm quitting after that. And then he said, what would it take for you not to quit? And now most people's going to be like, oh, I need to drop a couple thousand, invest a couple thousand on me, sign me to JBM, all that stuff. I was like, really, all I really need from you is just for you to take these beats that I have and run me through your programs and executive. That's all. I didn't even know to call it executive producing at the time, but I was just like, I just need you to engineer a project for me.
Right.
I told him, I was like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say, I have all my lyrics written. I have my beats. I come in prepared. I don't need ghostwriters, none of that. I just need the equipment and the professional mind behind me. And he took me on as a project.
It's a little more than just rapping over a beat.
Yes,
a lot more. You rap on a mic, and they take your recorded voice tracks and put it over the beats, and that's how it sounds so much better than you just recording over beats, guys.
And that's where I started from.
And KNR learned that off of his first one. Some of you guys are a couple in and haven't learned that.
No. I got lucky, and one thing I did learn that I was doing, I'll give out a little secret here, fuck it, because they show love, so I'll show love back. I was boosting my frequencies in the effects, and as soon as I went back through all these different ones that I had, and started taking my effects back, or my frequencies back down to what I was taught to take them back down to, I'll leave it at that, and I took them right to where it needed to be, and they sound so much clearer. The pot hits. That was my 4/20/21 release, which was 6 of the most, because even though it's not the best quality, people still show up for the music based off my poems and me telling them that I'm an artist. So the 6 most streamed songs off of UFO Flows, I went back and I did all those little tricks that I learned, which they're still amateur sounding because they're not professional equipment, but it is what it is.
But George Lucas them a little bit and remastered them.
Exactly. And then I went from, at that point in time, I was at 500 streams. Ever since then, I've gone over 1,000 streams from April 21st till now. Always without my first studio release out yet.
And that's where it goes back to, guys. Don't throw your old stuff away, and don't think that you can't rework something that is old.
And don't be afraid to market it.
He went back and cleaned it up a little bit and remarketed it, and look, he got himself up a little more of a following from it. I mean, Sam did the same thing with The Uglier. He had it released. It sounded kind of ugly as it was. It was a few years old, and then he left that record label, come out with this other Uglier, and the new one, I don't even dare call it a remake because it just sounds that much higher quality,
right? I know
that you're like, damn, this is almost a whole brand new CD. What do you mean this is a remake? Like, dude, this is so, like, there's no hiss on it and stuff. Like, because again, when Sam did his he was doing tracks with like straight recording from one cassette tape to the other cassette tape. And so you build up hiss on them.
Yeah.
And so Like he definitely George Lucased himself. Do we have a ETA on?
2022 for sure.
Okay.
It's ready. I'm just now that's up to the point where I've done for the last 2 months. I've done my poetry to get audiences and telling them, hey, this is going to be coming around. The shirts and the release. I'm saving this. I don't know if people know my. I'm saving this for a special day of life for me. We'll just say it that way.
All right.
Special day of life for me, and will be 2022. I'll say spring.
Okay.
That's fair enough. If anything happens and it doesn't come out, I'm sorry. This is the first time I've promoted a release and out of my 4 CDs and few singles, because there's some stuff I've taken down. You know, Sex Sells and The Smoke Session was both taken down. And then No Cosign was also taken down, which No Cosign was my very first EP. It's 4 tracks about how I'm independent. We're going to buck back against the industry. The independence artist theme is what I called it, No Cosign. And
Nice.
that was just a little history that I actually have music that I've taken down because I was just so, need to get that down for quality reasons. But I kept some of it up for time capsules, and here we are now. Just this is going to be studio released with Marcus Dupree. So... most definitely love
Keep our eyes
my
peeled
ride.
for that, guys. It's a good.
Now, I will be doing all 4 songs at the Nappy Face show, so,
23rd.
And this Wednesday, I picked up a 10 o'clock spot, which is the earliest I've picked up in a long time at the Down Under, at least since I've been wanting to do later slots while I've been debuting this music, so it's just slowly, only a few audiences are here. And I'm all about building hype. I promoted UFO Flows as I'm KNR, Kyle Night Raw, whatever, is invading the rap game, is invading all streaming platforms, and then 12 a.m., it drops. It was 420, so April 19th turns into 420 on midnight, and I'm saying UFO Flows has invaded Apple Music early and ran 90 streams up just based off that post alone. And I was like, damn, that's not too bad. And for an unknown artist, non-mixed and mastered music, and almost 100 streams just based off of how much promotion I put in at different.
And you're probably not maxed out on Facebook friends.
No, my Facebook has changed. I've deleted my old one, which I took in certain screenshots of certain conversations with people, whatever, just for memory's sake for me. But I deleted the old one and then started fresh on this fresh run.
Nice.
And
So we have a show April 23rd, or April 23rd.
How do you
October.
guess the date? No, I'm just joking.
Hey, I just dropped the release date.
You were a few days off. A few days close.
So
Sorry.
we got October 23rd, Wired Pub, Nappy Face Entertainment Show. We have the Unknown Legends dropping spring 2022. Again, he has his merch game up, guys. Some of you guys have more albums than shirts. I don't. I'm
blessed. Like I said, I was blessed with the guardian angel in this shit. So I'd probably be right where they were if I didn't meet who I met that early on.
But then again, this is what this podcast is for. So you guys get that advice some of these guys didn't get early on in their career.
Yes,
That's why I'm thankful you guys come in here and tell me about how you get started,
right?
And how you got into it, because then some of these guys may be real leery about it, or
and like I said, what I did was not a blueprint. I don't suggest it unless you are very confident. Because what I was doing is I was going up to these rappers who are rappers and very belief in their own skills and saying, hey, I'm bar for bar, I'm one of the hardest you will hear in this place tonight. And I took that risk, and I made it clear bar for bar because it's poetry. And I'm also a punchline poet, and I can do deeper poetry, but on these stages, I love punchline poetry because it smacks harder to me.
Well, that's at an open mic night. That's what's going to catch them.
Exactly.
Like I did a couple down at the Barley Street Tavern for stand-up comedy.
Oh, okay, I was going to say
when they did the stand-up comedy mic nights on Wednesdays there.
Okay, so you're a comedian?
No, I don't know.
Inspiring comedian?
I'm a guy that
I get you.
Enjoys life. I did a mixed martial arts fight and went 9 minutes and got the shit beat out of me for 9 minutes. But
holy shit!
I didn't tap out. I didn't get knocked out, but I went all 9 minutes.
That's what matters the most.
And everybody's like, "Why'd you do that?" I don't know. Something to jock off the list. Like,
that's most definitely.
Why did I go and rub my mustache all over Mike and Morgan's leg in sensuous moments for special moments? Like, it's because I don't know.
Life is life.
You give me the opportunity, and I'm going to take the best of it.
Then that's where I come from. Jake can every little opportunity, even the smallest little piece of advice, and turning it into the key to the answers. You know.
My key thing is, guys, you only live once. Don't let no deter you from enjoying it.
There you go.
Like I don't know.
Just too much. Not enough time and too much things to
If you didn't learn one thing from the stupid pandemic is enjoy the shit while you have it. Hands down. That's one thing Michael Showalter has taught me. Enjoy the little moments. You never know when they're not going to be there. So,
this turned into a comatose episode.
I think we hit everything on my list except for my final questions that I'm going to
ask it away.
I'm going to nail you with.
Good.
3 people for a dream collaboration. Can be any genre of music.
Okay.
You can have like a drummer, guitarist, keyboarder.
Fizzy the beatboxer. If he could beatbox while I rap, then we could drop that as a project. That'd be nice.
All right.
Dupree. And Marcus Dupree. Man, I'd never even thought about a collab till this very question, so I'm pretty... Wow, the King Archer would be the third, because I didn't say his name, but he was my sister's boyfriend, ex, whatever. They got their life going. You know, they split up, but me and him still stayed cool. But King Archer is actually, he's locally moved to where he moved to, and he kind of, you know, we talk a lot and stuff, and he's kind of like, you know, just driving, you know, just pushed me to get to these open mics. So shout out to him. So I would definitely love to have a collab with him. And I mean, I probably couldn't even afford the feature for a lot of these artists, because I met a lot of these artists right at their elevation to where then now they're up at the next level.
The best thing about this podcast is you never know who's watching it, bro. Because some of these guys
that's for sure.
Some of these guys may think, you know, whoever's on here is dope enough just by the way they conducted themselves.
Yes.
They'll be like, look, dude, I want to hit you up for a feature.
Right.
You know, versus you hitting them up.
If we do it, I'd have to stop by their studio. I can't just send them off a track or whatever. I can't do that, but I could most definitely. I'm willing to drop into anyone's studio that's willing to invite me, for sure, for a feature. And, yeah, that's about it for me.
I like hearing that. So then, if you're stuck listening to one song the rest of your life, not necessarily on repeat, but anytime you heard music play, it's this one song. What's that one song?
Wow, you hit me with a good one. I probably can't even... You hit me with a really good one, Adam. It was the very last one you got me on. There's just so many. I'm going to keep it real basic because you got me. I'm admitting that to the Mountain Dew review. He got me on this last question. Probably the most positive song you could think of. I don't know. I would want it to be... If I have to, I'd want it to be positive, so at least I have that positive energy in my life in that moment. But the Don't Worry, Be Happy song.
Nice. Don't worry, be happy.
Because I don't listen to that song enough, and that's actually like my struggle song, like not struggle, meditation type song. Like real quick, but I meditate a lot of this. Like a lot of times leading into I'm meditating. I'm listening to my beats. I don't take myself serious, but I take my craft very serious. So if I ever do come off like I take myself serious, that's why, or too serious. But that being said, I'm Kyle. Good night. The unknown legend. Thanks for fucking with me, Mountain Dew Review.
We got KNR. I want to thank you very much for stopping by the Mountain Dew Review.
Thank you for having me.
And it'll be a great honor to declare you officially tramp stamp approved.
Fucking right, I appreciate it. And it will be a great honor for your audience. Oh, you already turned it off. I just
Trampstampapproved.